dandelion pickles. You guys, this is my favorite dandelion recipe and I want to share it with you today. It's a combination of dandelions, their greens, and onions, red onions, all in vinegar. That's all it is. I make it every year. When we have a dandelion bounty around here, I make it for friends and neighbors because that's how wonderful I think it is. It's also very easy. There are a lot of complicated recipes in the dandelion world, and you'll find some on our website because we love exploring them. But this is really about as easy as it gets, and it will give you a product that will last you well into the summer and fall. In fact, you might wish that you'd made even more. But before we get to that recipe, consider, where are you going to get your dandelions? Okay, so avoid the public parks that you don't know if they're sprayed or whatever else, but really think about your opportunity. Where are you going to go? We forage for dandelions in the forest, and there might be some amazing places around you where you can forage for dandelions too. So start with that and do your dandelion harvest. Once you have your dandelions home, you can get started. So all you're going to do, guys, is you're going to layer your dandelion greens, your dandelion flowers, and your thin sliced onions. Layer them in a jar and pour vinegar over them. That is it. I mean, that's it. You're going to pickle the flowers, the greens, and your onion, and you will have these to use in your salads for the rest of the year. Let it sit. I'd let it sit for a few weeks before I start using it. But you know, there's no set rule. You can let it sit for a few months. In fact, that's what I typically do. I use dandelion pickles along with the onion and everything that's in this wonderful jar in potato salads, tuna salads, any place where you might want a pickle. Actually, you should try it and see how it works. Anything that's kind of vinegarish, try it. And add this instead of the regular thing in your recipe. I will make multiple jars of this, and I will start eating the first one in a few weeks, and then I just work my way through the jars. The way I work my way through the jars, so if I have a jar that's full of all of the pickled onion, dandelion green, and dandelion flower goodness, and say I'm going to make my tuna salad, I simply get a fork and I remove some of the bounty from the jar, leaving the vinegar inside. I put it on a cutting board, chop it up, because I put the onions in rounds, so I typically chop that up. The dandelions don't really need to be chopped, but sometimes I chop those too. The greens end up chopped. It all ends up chopped and into the tuna salad. If it's a salad that I want a little bit of vinegar with, I'll pour off a little vinegar from that jar as well. And so as I'm using up the dandelions and the onions in the jar, I'm also using the vinegar over time. And so at some point I end up with an empty jar, and it's wonderful. I move on to the next jar. And that's really it. On the Fresh Bites Daily website, you'll find some recipes too. There's other things you can mix in with that vinegar to add more flavor to this mixture, but I really love just having this as a basic vinegar that has the flavors of these dandelions and the onions in it. It takes the vinegar itself to a whole new level. Your vinegar is very, very good, but so are the pickled ingredients that are inside of this vinegar. Give it a try. I'd love to see what you think about it. This is a wonderful dandelion recipe. Find others on the Fresh Bites Daily website.